Hey guys, this is Paperness. I'm here with another deck profile. The reason why I haven't uploaded in a while is mainly because I recently started college and I've been struggling to find time and a way to make videos. Alright, so this is going to be a complete and utter revamp of the Masked Chameleon deck that I posted about a month ago. And I just decided to post this new version because the first version was really successful, and I figured this was going to be successful too. And as you can tell, this is in the OCG because I decided that this format, I like the OCG list a lot better because I like my Avarice, I like my Reborn, I like my Judgment, and I like my Shockmaster, and I don't want to let them go. So yeah, this is OCG, and this deck, before I get started, this deck is incredibly good. Out of 50 games I played with this deck, just to test it and just for shits, it only lost 8 times. Yeah. Anyways, on to the profile itself. To start out, Triple Masked Chameleon. This thing is so good. Because basically what it can do is it can pull out a monster with 0 defense from your graveyard and face-up defense. And if it's a tuner, it opens the gate to either any generic rank 4, well, any and all generic rank 4 Ixies ever, or level 8 Synchros. And I do run the Rabbit engine. My 6 vanillas are Gemini Garnet and Blazing Apache. I run the Double Bunny. Next, 2 Flame Tiger. Initially, this actually wasn't my idea. A friend of mine suggested this to me, and I thought it's done its fair share. What this will allow me to do is, like, let's say I don't have a field, and this is in the grave, and I have a vanilla in hand or something. I can summon Flame Tigers, go in the vanilla, go into a King Feral, and search for a masked chameleon. Because the thing is, like, as you can read here, yes, it's banished when it's removed from the field, but 9 times out of 10 I'm going for an Ixies play anyway, so it's going to stay in the grave. I run 2 Goblinberg. Just another way to go into a quick Ixies or Synchro, the field depending. And what's really helpful is that this deck can make Trishula, and if I recall correctly, this is one of the few ways that's possible. I'll explain the few ways later on. Next, Double Kage no Kage. Again, another way to quickly shit out Synchros, or, well, Ixies actually. Because the thing with this deck is, generally, I can turn 1, I can make an Ixies. Or, yeah, usually turn 1, I can make a turn 1 King Feral with relative ease. Next up, I have 2 Max C, just because it's Max C. Next up, I have 2 box of Friends. I was initially a bit hesitant because it is a slow card, but at the same time, it does let me pull out my vanillas more easily. Then that, and let's say I use Rabbit, go and bring my Double Garnet, and then I go in a box. That gives me another opportunity to use my vanilla, so there isn't just that one Garnet awkwardly hanging around inside the deck. Next, I just run 2 Veilers onto the spells, which help me run 6. That's 6, yeah. Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, Avarice. Avarice is so good in this deck. This is a way to recycle my Masked Chameleons, my vanillas. This is honestly partly why I stuck with the OCG. Foolish Burial. Typically, I'll just mill Flame Tiger, but it does set up for, let's say, Trishula plays, or just plays in general. Because there have been times where it's like, I drew an otherwise shit hand, Foolish Burial just saved my butt. Reborn, it's really good. I'm mad that it's banned. And the Book of Moon, again, Book of Moon is just super good. Onto the traps, Double Bottomless, Double Torrential, Double Deep Prison, Double Compulse, the Solemn Duo, and Huge Revolution. I don't run Starlight Road because I've never been a fan of Starlight Road. I mean, the deck can make Stardust, yeah, but that just takes up space in the extra deck. And speaking of the extra deck, starting off, I run Princess Cologne. I run her mainly because she synergizes really well with Moxie Friends. Like, there have been numerous times where, let's say, the box of Friends, bring out 2 vanillas, go into Cologne, use Cologne, summon box, and then, the next turn, bring out a Scrap Dragon, use Scrap Dragon, blow up the box, bring out more Ixies, and just swarm the field. And it helps when I have my vanillas out. Cowboy, he's a game stealer. That's it, and sometimes a beater when he feels like it. Emerald, he's a mini Avarice and he can help set up for various Ixies plays because he can pluck out my vanillas. Maestro, he's a good wall, and he can just say, hey, Ophion, face down ass if that's the way I want to fuck you. Diamond Dyer, just get rid of problem cards. Black Ship, kind of the same thing, but more specifically problem monsters like Marshmallow, Fire King, stuff like that. Shockmaster, oh god, this thing is so good. I'm mad that it's banned, hence OCG. I do apologize for constantly referring to how much I hate the TCG list, but I just hate it so much. Yeah, Shockmaster can lock out spells, traps, or monsters. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, just Shockmaster. King of the Feral Imp. Holy shit, this card is broken with Masked Chameleon because, Rabbit? Yeah, pretty much Rabbit is an instant King Feral, or just any, like, what makes King Feral so broken in this deck is that it's generic. If it wasn't generic, it would be so much worse. But the thing is seeing as how I can go, like, let's say, Goblinberg and a Flame Tiger and a King Feral and a Masked Chameleon and have my plays all set up, it's fantastic. Pearl, he's a beater, specifically an out to Ophion, because Ophion does kind of give this deck trouble. Kind of, sort of. Next up, Ouroboros. I love this card so much. The reason why I run Ouroboros and Shockmaster is that there are times where it's like, either I'm not sure what my opponent is playing, like, especially, like, Ouroboros I'll typically go for, like, turn 1, where I don't know what my opponent's playing, so it's like, you know what, I'll just go Ouroboros, send a card from their hand, that'll probably fuck them over. Actually for the Synchros, I don't run that many, but that's fine. Armades. This deck shits on everything. Not this deck. It does, but no. This card specifically just shits on everything. I love this thing so much. Scrap Dragon. Scrap is kind of my go-to synchro because it's just really helpful. Just the way, because he's a very powerful 2800 beater and he can blow up cards. And destruction in this deck doesn't necessarily matter because, like, let's say I have Box of Friends, I can set up with that. I've done that a lot of times. It's hilarious. Or if maybe I want to set up an Avarice play, or let's say I'm playing a deck that, let's say, like Dragon Rulers, where they don't give a shit about banishing. Alright, I'll pop a Deep Prison, and I'll pop your Big Eye or something, I don't know. Next up, Crimson Blader. That's my... I don't use Crimson Blader as much, because Crimson's more like, oh, you're playing Synchrons or whatever? Alright, I'll go Crimson Blader and screw you over. And that's it. Trish. Oh, Trish, I was so happy when you were deleting the OCG, because I realized, my god, this deck can make it. It's difficult, but it can be made. Yeah. Trish is just super good. And as far as how I can make it, the two most, quote, common ways are either if I have, like, Box of Friends already on the field and a Vanilla in the grave, to use Masked Chameleon, pull out the Vanilla and do that, or have a Vanilla or level 4 on board, and then use Masked Chameleon, pull out Box. That's just about it. If I'm not, well, actually, no, Goblinberg can kind of do the same thing. Like, if I were to have, let's say, Box of Friends in the field, then go Goblinberg into Masked. That's about it for this profile. Depending on how this, like this video if you want me to post some various replays that I have, because I have a few replays that I'd like to show off. So let's have this video get 25 likes. If this gets 25 likes, I'll post some replays next week. With that in mind, this has been Paperness, and I'm out.